Hello and welcome to Crawl or No Crawl YouTube channel. I'm going to tell you today, based on the indexation research, where we are in this March 2025 core update. If you're not familiar with who I am Carolyn Holzman, and I've been in SEO for a while, and I've been testing Google's indexation system for over 3.5 years and counting. It's sort of like the gift that keeps on giving, and I wanted to share some things publicly that I have found in this testing. Basically, the March core update is over, and when I say that, I mean the first phase of it, and I'll tell you what phases we're involved in. And we seem to be in the final phase or phases. And again, I caution you to remember Google will still be Google. So how can we know that any phase in an update is complete? So you have to understand and really understand what SEO testing is. Google is the ultimate tester. They can limit the number of variables in their tests because they own that testing environment. You know, we've been testing in Google scientifically since like 2015, but of course we know it's not going to reveal everything, but it has given us some incredible clues. But Google, they can do what they want with their system. And in this recent update, I noticed they eliminated what I would have thought as a tester would be a bothersome variable, and I'll tell you what that is. But again, bear in mind, Google is still Google. All right, so during this recent update, Google indexation system utilized a single Chrome build on every single Googlebot that's involved in content recrawling. It was set, all of them, set to the same build. I cannot tell you how unusual that is because as someone who reads server logs, it made it super easy to read when you knew they were all consistently using the same Chrome. The ones were the mobile Googlebot. There was a single mobile Googlebot crawling and rendering. There was a single desktop Googlebot, which of course, you know, crawls through to make sure they're picking up all the desktop only items. The inspection tool crawlers, which come from Search Console requests for indexation. There are 4 of them. 3 of them have Chrome. And Google Other. Now there is a Google Other without Chrome, but over the last year they introduced a Google Other with Chrome. And I believe it's involved in some of the content awareness discovery phase. So that was incredibly significant. And why, as a tester, why would this matter? Well, previously that mobile Googlebot had 2 versions. So you kind of had to wonder, well, if there was a problem, they couldn't isolate it definitively and perhaps more cost effectively if they were using 2 of them. But this eliminated the second one. So now if there's a problem, they know exactly which Google Chrome that they need to look at and see if it was anything in that Google Chrome. All right. Now, that was the case until March 20th. That's last Thursday. There was a new Chrome being used in the mobile Googlebot. So all the others kind of stayed the same, but the mobile Googlebot changed. Now, if you notice, that first number has flipped from 133 now into 134, and that signifies a fairly major Chrome update. It's not a minor one, it's not a security patch, it's something new. And I'm tracking that. I know what it's looking at. I'm going to make a separate video on that, so if you are not already subscribed to Crawl or No Crawl this channel, go ahead and do that so you don't miss out on that and you'll get notified by the YouTube. So again, I can imagine some are like saying, no, I don't understand how you can tell me what's going on in an update. Well, there are mechanics involved. There is no magic wand. Ultimately, in order to rescore and resort by new rules, that means every URL in their known index, every one that they have access to, they've got to crawl it and send it back through the indexation system. Therefore, their logic tells us that there are 3 phases to an update. Now, some of them can happen simultaneously. The crawling has to start it. The scoring, because we notice that they do things in batches, and the way we can kind of tell is that periodically as they're doing that, we'll see a spike in volatility and then everything will go right back down. So that makes sense, right? If they've batch pushed everything out. Now, because I test the indexation system, I notice where they slow down in that indexation. And primarily that's for new content for discovery. So if you've just published and said, well, Google will find it, yeah, they will, but it was not going to be processed through this update. And then there's that scoring phase. So when the crawling phase kind of winds down, the primary phase then becomes the scoring phase. And that's happens again behind the scenes. We don't really see that. And they may periodically push that out into the searchable index. But at the end, there's sort of a final push. And then we kind of see a little cleanup phase going on where things, sort out in different spots. So I want to give you an idea where I think we are. So the case can be made because of just the appearance of that new bot that we are now in a primary scoring phase. The last few days, looking at it, I could also make the case and say, I think we are past the full scoring and we're in it where they're going to be pushing things out into the searchable index and cleaning up phase. Now, if you like these kind of reports, I do them on Crawl or No Crawl on Substack. Previously, I'd done this on YouTube where I invited everybody, but I turned it into a paid group, and that community has moved over to Substack. If you're interested, I'll put the link in the description. There are 2 types of accounts. You can get a free one, which periodically from time to time, I will share certain things, but not necessarily anything that is timely. For instance, everybody in the paid community knew about the end of the update last week. So if you like being the first to know things, this is a place for you. Something else I want to share, it was 3 years in the making, is my new indexing platform, Indexilla.io. And you can check that out. I'll put links in the description for everything here on out. The Forensic SEO training course is getting completely revamped for 2025. So hang on until I have information on that. Confessions of an SEO is a weekly short form SEO podcast, but probably not the kind you're used to. But it is on the list of SEMrush's top 10 SEO podcasts. And if you have 15 to 17 minutes a week and you like to just have fun and hear stories about SEO, this would be a great one for you. Crawl or No Crawl, like I said, is on Substack, and you can get updates just like this one before anybody else. The cost is $18 a month. Now, if you have any questions, you can, of course, email me, Carolyn@AmericanWayMedia.com. I'm also on Facebook. You can look for American Way Media there, or if you're on LinkedIn, just search for my name and you'll find me. All right, remember to subscribe. Thanks so much, and I'll keep you posted.